Everyone, it's Sunday night, 10 p.m. As usual, it is the APAT show, but Leigh, it's not quite as usual because we're doing something a little bit different tonight.
Yeah, we are. We thought we did a whole month without really any poker, so it was about time we brought a little bit of poker back on a Sunday night. So we thought we'd do it a little bit different, and we thought we'd try entering the world of cash. A little bit of cash game. Thought we'd see how that worked out. But we're not doing this alone. We've obviously we wouldn't do this without a guest. So we have the one and only Dan Williams, fresh from a week's worth of mingling and marketing at ICE. And I saw you won a prize, Dan. Not only were you working all week, you actually managed to snap yourself up a nice little trip to Malta.
Yeah, Lockbox runs good.
Nice. Sweet. How are you doing, Dan?
Yeah, it was all right. There was All In Global, which is a company, I believe. Not
translations in Malta.
That's it. Did I do a lot of sort of work in the poker industry in regards sort of like text and content and SEO and so on and so forth. They hosted it was supposed to be a 36-man, like 6 tables of 6 shootout style thing with a package for the Battle of Malta. Interestingly ran with blind levels that could only rival APAT, if I'm honest, 5-minute increases, doubles every time. And then they added additional players as players got knocked out in these sit and goes. So they just went longer and longer and longer, which was interesting. But yeah, so we managed to win our...
Well, don't tell Tom. That sounds a whole new concept we put in.
Like that.
It's great. Yeah.
More rake is better.
Yeah. Did they make money, Dan? Did they make money?
Well, I'm not too sure they did. But anywho, we won our first table, and then won the final with Ali G dealing, which was great. And interestingly, when we were heads up the blinds, there was a 10K starting set with 6 players, and the blinds, because they needed to finish, were at 16K, 32K with 60K in play.
Wow.
Which skill game and all that. But yeah, so we're off to Malta. I think when you guys are there for
so you're out there. You're out there for the obviously it's the spring version of the Malta Poker Festival. So I presume you've got your package gives you a seat into the main event for that. But APAT, we've got our Mediterranean Poker Championship out there as well. So you'll be able to take in that 2-day event as well.
Yeah.
With Yvonne and the gang out there who put on a superb festival. They've normally done the autumn time, but last year they started with the spring one as well, and it's a huge success. So massively looking forward to heading out there for that one.
Glad you guys are out there, because I'm sure I'll bust very quickly. So it'll give me something else to play, which is good.
That is what it's all about. Yeah.
That is the attitude. So, Leigh, we've got Dan. That's great. Now, we've got a few other familiar faces out there, right? They're not in the studio with us tonight, but they are participating. So tell us about this cash game we've got going.
Yes, so we've set up a cash game on Party, who we have obviously been with for a number of years. So we thought we'd pick something nice and familiar for everyone to play with. I'm just waiting to be allowed back onto the table, Des.
It's so embarrassing.
I was slightly inactive for a period of time, and the software kicks you out and gives you like a 10-minute cooler before you're allowed back on. So I'm about a minute away, from being able to sit back down. So we've got 6-handed table here, nice and low stakes. We're just going nice and gentle on the Sunday night. So it's 5 cent, 10 cent, with a minimum buy-in of 50 bigs, maximum buy-in of 200 bigs. So $20 is your maximum buy-in. So obviously we got some regulars that people know from the shows. Obviously Dan, who's with us tonight. You can see Dan sat there at the moment. We got Mr. Tom Bacon is playing, Natalie Bromley's playing, and Paul Haycott. Now Paul Haycott looks to be absolutely smashing it already here. With guys, we still sort of got on about 15-20 minutes ago, Dan, and started playing a little bit. And Paul has already got his $20 up for $30.
He played a very big hand with Nat early on, where he went for the Kevin O'Hanlon limp under the gun 4-bet over bet pot on the flop. Like it worked, but he's cruising quite nicely.
Excellent. Now, what we should say is, so it's 6-handed. I'm going to take my seat very, very shortly to make it up to 5, but that does mean we have one spare seat at our table, Des.
Can't be me, Leigh. It cannot be me for obvious reasons. I can't play the game, but maybe one of the guys out there would like to join.
Yeah.
How would they do that, Leigh?
Well, it's very simple. So basically, if you're watching now tonight at home and you're on Party Poker or you've got Party Poker open, fancy joining us, just pop in the chat. Let us know. We'll grab somebody. I'll send you the details so you can join the club games, APAT show club games, and we'll get you on and get you sat down and play a bit of poker. We're going to be playing for about an hour. Is the plan? Nice low stakes. If anybody fancies joining this cash game, so Dan can actually critique your play for the next hour. That's basically the plan is here.
That's what you get.
We'll look to do that. But if you fancy doing that, just let us know in the chat, and Des will give me a shout out who I need to get in contact with, and we'll hopefully get you
Fantastic.
in and set up as quick as we can.
Love it. Well, we know the Oracle is out there. He's already sort of in the chat box saying all evening to you, Simon. So if you are watching in, guys, be that on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch or on the APAT website, anywhere else you might be catching the stream, do say hello. If you want to join the game, just give us that shout out in the chat box. Other than that, if you have anything interesting that you want to discuss from the week gone or the week ahead, raise it. Mr. Haycock is there, Leigh, and he says the hardest NL10 game in the whole wide world of poker. I think he might be right, Leigh. I think he might actually be right on that one.
We'll watch this hand first, and then I'm just going to then quickly just take the table down for a second whilst I just log in, because it will put my details over the screen whilst I do that. So we'll just watch this one play out between Natalie and Dan.
I'll take it off.
How are you seeing this going here, Dan? It's check on the turn.
Yeah, I don't fancy winning it. I mean, everything that beats me gets there. Nat's probably got some sort of raggy ace, so we're just going to check our showdown. But oh no, look at that, Nat. No barrel on the river.
I'll tell you what, if you carry on calling her Nat, she'll be around giving you a slap.
She will not be happy with that.
Right, bear with me 1 second. Oh, well done, thanks, Des. And I will just get myself back into this game with however much it'll let me buy in for now.
Have you reloaded yet, Leigh?
Well, I was 9 cents up from earlier on, so I'm in good play.
You back in, Leigh?
Right, we should be good. Yeah.
Bought yourself half a Freddo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's just about. Yeah. It's Simon Lawless says if you change it to limit 080, you'll be in. You'll be in like a shot if it was limit Omaha high low. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So the funny little cards on above my name are simply because we're sharing my my stream of the table here. So obviously my whole cards would be showing. So we've got them covered up. But I can if I ever need to remove that, so you can see what hand I'm playing if ever there's an opportunity to do that.
Well, I'm thinking we're probably on about a 30-second delay, Leigh. So
it doesn't give you very much time, especially when one of the people at the table is literally sat right there above me.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably give me all the information. I still wouldn't get any better. So.
I was going to say, Leigh, you could probably play with your cards open and just make it more interesting. Because that's a big game.
Well, it's back to the old Annette story, isn't it? Of winning that tournament once with a Post-it note over her cards.
Oh, do you know we haven't discussed Annette for what feels like months and months and months and months. Simon, do you still think about Annette?
Sure he does.
Oh, I'm sure
he does.
There he goes. Could you do an Annette and play blind? He was in there. He was in there before you.
Interesting handy, because I've just come back in, obviously, out of the big blind. So I had to force a big blind in, which and Paul's raised it up to 25 cents. So I called that. Dan's then popped it up to $1.10. Tom's got out the way here, and Natalie is not messing about. $3.85 is the raise.
Hell.
Paul's re-raised it to $6.70. I quite like my hand. I really do quite like my hand here. I suppose I could show you what probably best not, because there's so much action going on here. I'm going to have to let this go, I think. Unfortunately, I really like my hand there, Des. I really did.
He likes
What's
his
Dan
hand,
gonna do?
folks.
Dad, are you not keen on your hand anymore?
I mean, I don't mind it. Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't like it that much, Leigh. He does not like it that much.
No.
I'm having to move everything around to see the game.
Natalie's made the call, so Queen Ace 8 on the board. I'd quite like that flop as well, Des. Just so you know, yeah, that would have
Say no more, Leigh.
quite nice. But
I think I know where you are. I think I know your range.
yeah. 8-3, yeah.
Something like 8, yeah. I was going to say 8-7.
Oh,
and Natalie with the power play takes that
She's
at
not messing
$21 pot. That's a very, very nice pot.
Oh, Simon's got 1 month left on a restraining order. Congratulations as you near that long restriction being removed, Simon. Triss is out there. WSOP circuit at DTD in March. Any others making the trip? I would think there'll be a lot of others making that trip, Leigh. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that will very much be the case. There's it's $500,000 guarantee, £1,000 buy-in on it, and there's going to be quite a few ring events over that festival.
Yeah,
it's certainly going to be 11, might even be more than that. Yeah, looking forward to it. I've just completed a nice promo vid for it for the guys at DCD. So hopefully that'll be out the next week.
Sweet.
Or so.
Well, Leigh, if there's a £10 buy-in event, I'm there.
Yeah, there's not quite a 10. It's not quite £10. You might get yourself a little satellite in there, and it's all kicking off in our show chat group.
I'm seeing
there's abuse,
there's bad language and everything.
There's bad language and all sorts going on in that. Yeah,
there's shades, bad language. There's all sorts of rub downs going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't forget, if you do want to take, we've got one spare seat at this cash game. We're going to be playing, say, for about an hour until just after 11. If you fancy joining us, just let us know, and we will we can get you sorted and get you involved if you want to take the 6th seat tonight.
We need to know about your 8-3 hand, Leigh. Was it 8-3 or did you have ace and something, a nice ace 10
It was ace jack.
Ace jack.
Very nice ace jack.
That's about what we call that. We call that the Stuart Oliver.
I did think that actually as I saw. I thought it is very much the Stuart Oliver hand. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
so Triss
never does what it should do.
And you might know this, Leigh, if you've been doing videos. Any info on the schedule for the WSOP circuit?
Well, no, that's what they're just finalising at the moment. Is exactly how many ring events it's going to be. All I can say is I've done the multiple videos depending on how many they end up with.
Jesus.
So is where they're at the moment. But I can certainly tell you that the main event is definitely, I think that schedule's already up for that particular part of it. And as I say, is a $500K guarantee, £1,000 buy-in on that. And they're going to have loads of satellites into that as well.
Yeah. Are you going to go and play it, Leigh?
I would love to if I can find the time. It's certainly one of those. I think it's not often you get a chance to play a WSOP event outside of Vegas. So to have one on our we'll say on our doorstep, because it's anything in the UK you could argue is on your doorstep. Getting to do these, I think it's very good, and it's just one of many superb events that Dusseldorf have got on this year. I mean, it's just going to be festival after festival. We're up there in a few weeks' time. And looking forward to that hugely.
Oh, absolutely. How about you, Dan? Would you go and play a circuit event big enough?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think scheduling works for me for this one. Looking at it, March is pretty busy for me with children and all the other things that are going on. But I might try and squeeze myself down there potentially.
But it'd be lovely to
get
up there.
To see what the schedule is. Just to see if there's, I mean, I don't know how many ring events they're actually putting on. If it's just the one main that's the ring event, or if there's other.
No. They'll say that Dan is
probably a few.
It's 11. as far as I'm aware. It's a minimum of 11. So.
I mean, I can always try and make it a work trip, right? You know.
Yeah, well, you can always. That's always a worthwhile.
I'm pretty sure our advertising's in the club somewhere, so I might have to go and just check it's still up and do all those things. It's a hard life.
It's not easy.
Well, the thing is, it is just packed, isn't it? Because obviously, we're obviously at the Irish Open as well this year with an APAT event at that, and say that's another huge event that's going to be absolutely popular. It just feels like it's just going to be non-stop.
I think
what's this Bromers trying to steal my honestly, it's
I think
ridiculous.
The
no, I mean that's 5'9". I'm hardly defending with 5'9", am I really? I mean, come on.
I would definitely say this poker boom has just gone absolutely mental. I mean, I spoke to Rob. We talked about ice at the off, and I spoke to Rob last year and sort of talked to him about his plans for Dusk Till Dawn and all the things he was looking to do. So to see it come into fruition with a WSOP circuit and all these other things that they're kind of putting on now, I think just goes to show how booming the poker economy is again, which is good for everybody, right? But yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy year. So even if you can't carve the time out for certain things, I definitely think there's going to be a lot that you can go and play if you want to this year. So it's exciting.
No, it's looking like a big year for UK poker. So Leigh, we've got Addy on Twitch there. I'm interested. What's the big blind? What's the buy-in?
Oh, it's very. We're playing very low stakes. It's 5
high
cents,
stakes.
5 cents. Yeah, high stakes, low stakes. 5 cents, 10 cents. And you can buy in from anything from 50 bigs up to 200 bigs, whatever takes your fancy. So if you wanted to buy in for the max, it's just $20. Bit of fun for an hour. As I say, with some of the regulars on the show, whilst we're having a chat about everything else that's going on in the world, and just getting a little bit of poker back on the screen, really.
So Tris is saying he's got 4 days left to take before the end of March. Holidays from work. It looks like he'll take the lot for this festival. Can't blame him. And Simon is saying, will the live stream table be used during Teams weekend? I'm not sure we'd know the answer to that. I'm not even sure if it'll be in yet.
We don't know, because I don't think it's actually in properly yet. They've still got the temporary version of it. I'm pretty certain they're aiming now to have it in ready for the WSOP event.
Yeah,
that's what they're aiming to do. There's another event on at the moment that started this weekend. I think now runs on next week, called The Festival, which is run by some guys from Europe that have been running very successful events for a while now. And so they've got some superb variants on this week. If you want to get there and try and play some of those, very much if you enjoy your APAT games. Mr. Bacon. Look, so honestly, there's no respect, Des. This is the problem. This is the problem with the world these days.
Think they know you're distractedly.
Yeah, no.
In fact,
respect.
I'm on a small cut of their winnings to keep.
Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah.
Obviously that flop has absolutely smashed my range. Everybody knows I'm absolutely it. So.
Fold you sevens. Let's move on to the next one. Come
on. Oh, Dan, so close yet so far. We'll fold the pocket eights there, then, and we'll move on to the next hand.
See, if you'd have called after flashing them, then that would have been like meta.
Yeah. Oh dear. So I would hope, they'll be getting the live stream table. I don't think it's been ready for the team event for us, unfortunately. We're probably just going to miss that. But I would very much be planning on for the Worlds in August, and maybe even the UK champs in May. That it'll be up and running and available.
Leigh, I won't be happy until I see a rather large bloke sat in a seat behind one of those sort of 13-foot cameras that you tend to see at the Premier League games on the halfway line. I want a big bloke in a big electronic seat, Star Wars like just zooming about. That's the type of tech I want to see at the next APAT. Not you with your little camera, Leigh. We can't keep doing this. You with your little camera.
Well, apparently, it's the future, isn't it? Is
go big.
You need the most high tech high definition cameras, because obviously poker players, that's what you want. You need to catch poker players in 4K, don't you? You know,
well, you need the 4K. You need the 4K on your phone, Lee.
Yeah, well,
so that you can go sideways, right? If you had landscape as opposed to, in portrait mode.
Des and I always do chuckle, Dan, because obviously, you know, people put and some of the poker events that go on now, the quality of what they're producing and the sets and the structures and everything, it is just phenomenal, you know, and what they're putting out there content wise is just different level. And then Des and I rock up to do an APAT event with a couple of mobile phones and a gimbal, and actually we pretty much put out the same story. We tell the same, you know, give the same information. In fact, probably at times better information than
faster. Lee, come on, faster and better.
It's much, it's good. We pretty much a couple of backpacks and we're away to go. Different world.
You want to contrast our expenses
you do it with more of a smile on your face than most. Like after being sort of behind the scenes at EPT, seeing those camera guys literally falling asleep, and they've got those huge like mechanical moving
steady cams, fantastic
cam things that literally look like they're about to do some construction work on the Brooklyn Bridge, and they're just falling asleep at it, just bored as sin. Obviously not interested in poker whatsoever. So at least you guys have a smile on your face. And also
that must be quite. I mean, that must be quite a difficult thing, Des. That would you not say if you're a camera guy and poker is not your thing at all? I mean, that must be quite a depressing thing to be filming for. If they're doing, say they're doing the WSOP and they're doing it for a month or so.
I think it's just it's a job, you know. They're camera guys. Their job is to, you know, remember we assume they're just pointing a camera, right? But there's all sorts of communications going on with the truck, and they've got various settings, and you know they're looking at their power level. There's probably all sorts of stuff going on to keep them, you know, motivated to point in the right direction.
My favorite guy on the EPT set is the guy that every time the session starts confiscates everybody's mobile phone into a chip count bag and then just holds it for like the 2 hours that the levels are playing, and then when the players come off he just has to open it and let them take their phones. And I mean, he's still hooked up like a CIA agent with like an earpiece. Yeah, bless him. Not the job for me.
No. But you know, that's the other thing.
Tom's raised this up. Natalie's made the call. It's my big blind again, Des. They keep going after my big blind here. I'm not going to let them get away with this. I'm going to see.
Don't let them push you around, Lee. Don't let them push you around again.
Yeah, I'm going to see a flop. I mean business this time.
Do you remember the time we taught Matt Dale how to play?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's Tom Bacon. Look.
Yeah, you've got him now, Lee. You've got him now.
Clearly, they've both checked that because they've not got anything of those. So I'll just put a little bet out this time and see if
that's a bit big, Lee.
Is that too much?
That's a bit big.
Have you seen the Premier League table of 2023 only?
The Premier League table of 2023 only?
Yeah. So results from 2023 only.
Oh no, Dan. That isn't a thing. That isn't a thing, Dan. That isn't a thing.
I've seen it. It must be real.
No.
It was on Twitter. It's got to be real.
Well, it could well be real, but it's not something I want to see. Hell no.
Oh, Tom Bacon. That's disgusting. Honestly.
I told you, Lee, he had it all the time. I knew because he told me. He said, I've got him in my ear here, Lee. He said, Des, I've got King Queen. Keep him going.
It's fine because I'm only feeling sorry for Tom. He said he's had problems with his ID, so he can't deposit on Party at the moment. So I'm just feeling generous, trying to help him out a little bit. That's all. So.
With that headset on, Des, are you the guy holding all of our mobile phones?
Yeah, I'm the guy with the mobile phones. I am. That's me. Yeah. I'm that guy. You know what you can't see at the moment, Dan, is that I've got a rather large balloon hovering over your house as we speak. Satellites pointing down just to find out whether you've got any other devices in play.
Ooh. I best hide these then. This is how my life has become. So this is the true story behind this. My phone and my old phone. My children are so obsessed with Pokemon Go. I'm
going to go light on this, Des. All right, I'm going to go light. I'm going to go easy. Yeah. Okay.
They're so
you sort of got there, Lee, didn't you? You sort of got there.
I mean, if she doesn't, Natalie, you've got to raise now.
This is interesting.
If she's watching if she's using a time bank and she's watching the screen,
She's using it wisely. She is using it wisely.
She's about to find out.
She just calls. Huh? She's obviously not watching.
She hasn't seen it. She hasn't seen it. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Raise.
Well, you tried to help her, Leigh. You tried. You tried.
What more can you do, eh? What more can you do?
I think you've got the same thing as Wayne Parker's got. He said, I don't care of the size, just keep them away from me. I think he's talking about the size of pots. The size of pots, just keep them away from me. You tried to give your pot away. Did not happen.
I have a feeling he's talking. I have a feeling he's talking about the cameras, but yeah.
I'm sure it was pots. Simon says, think of the paycheck. Could he be? Is he talking about the cameras? I'm not sure. 4 games. I've definitely lost Simon at this stage. This might have been a couple of minutes ago, but it wasn't too far back. 4 games? I missed that one. And he's suggesting a chip dump. I think that was your hand with Mr. Bacon.
Yeah. I'm assuming 4 games. Is he referring to the number of games that have been played in 2023 so far? So that's what the table would be based on. Maybe that's what we're talking about.
I mean, as a Red fan,
well, he'd like it because Forest were top, I think, if I remember rightly.
Look, I'm rocking.
Oh, really? Were they? Okay.
The red.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm rocking the red tonight, and it wouldn't be pretty from a Liverpool point of view, I'm sure.
Well, you've got tomorrow's an absolute must win, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Crikey, yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's just which will be interesting because Everton have obviously new manager now and have already picked up a win.
But somebody tells me that if Liverpool win their 2 games in hand, I mean, you're into the if scenarios now.
2 games in hand on who?
On Newcastle.
On Newcastle,
like 4 or 5 points behind Newcastle with like a ton of games to go. So Newcastle, have lost more points this weekend. They've lost a bunch of points. I think that 4th place is still up for grabs, to be honest. I don't see anything in Liverpool to suggest we're the ones that are going to get it, but
it's an absolute roller coaster because, I mean, I was down during the week with United's result at home to Leeds because I just felt, I mean, we played poorly. We really didn't. We did well to get a point out of that at the end, and I think you'd happily have taken that. We actually started the game today not much better, to be honest, but have somehow managed to nick a win, which is brilliant. So actually, I'd have taken 4 points across the 2 games. Probably don't think it's, and probably that's about where it probably was. Leeds didn't deserve to lose both of them, that's for sure. But then when you look at it, you kind of think, so you're a bit down, and then you look at the league table and you go, well, actually, hang on a minute here. Arsenal have dropped points last time. Newcastle dropped points. Tottenham dropped points. Chelsea have dropped points. All of a sudden you go, well, actually, I mean, we were second at one point this afternoon for a couple of hours before Man City played. It's like, what the hell's going on there? Yeah.
And to be honest, if City beat Arsenal on Tuesday or Wednesday night, I think, it's very much all
brings
over
Arsenal brings Arsenal right back into the the mix of it all. So,
Leigh, do you want to show me your hand quick? Show me your hand quick.
Yeah, I can do. Do you want to see it? Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no, that was a misclick.
Was it?
Yeah.
Watch him, Leigh. Watch him.
Me too. Yeah. Really, Dan?
Oh wow, this has gotten fruity very quickly, folks. There's another £34 off the table, guys. Is it all going to go in? It might do. Wilshire's just upped to 15 quid. So can Dan find another fiver to see a flop? And obviously we could be looking at anything. I'm not going to begin to imagine what we've got going on here.
I mean, firstly, Des, it's a tenner, but I'll let you.
Detail.
Don't forget the kids have got to
He's let it go. Sprightly betting with a pair of singles. What did you have, Dan? An underpair?
Not as good as him. I need to save my money for Pokemon Go anyway. What a hobby that's become. I found it. They started watching the TV show at Christmas, I downloaded it on my phone. I was like, oh, they'll come for a dog walk now. They'll walk to school. Oh my God. I now have to drive them. Well, I drive them to town on a Wednesday to meet some pro Pokemon Go players to go and catch Pokemon. They're absolutely obsessed. It's costing me a fortune.
Whatever you do, Dan, don't leave them alone with them. Stay there.
No.
Right?
I thought Pokemon Go had kind of been and done its thing about 10 years ago.
No, it's huge again now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, wow. It is in my house.
Yeah, no, it's the same here. My 8-year-old, hey, Dad, can I use your phone? Pokemon Go. I keep telling her I've deleted the app. She can't come to terms with it.
And then really dead.
You just
know
Natalie's, you just know Natalie's got an ace here, don't you?
I think there's a reasonable chance. Go on, Leigh. Get it all in. Test her.
We unfortunately can't.
I can't do it. He can't find the raise.
Oh dear. So yeah, in the chat. So Tristan says tomorrow night 0-0.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that about it. It does have that possibility that could be the case. And Simon says not seen any games, but heard VAR had a mare. You
Likewise.
really? I think VAR's weekend is probably the worst weekend they've. It wasn't just some you were dubious or whatever. I think one of them they drew the wrong line. They drew the line in the wrong place.
He forgot to draw the line, Leigh. One of the blokes forgot to draw the line. It was in the Arsenal game, so it was okay.
You know, just unbelievable. How can that be a thing? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, VAR really did have an absolute mare. And I think in the Chelsea West Ham game, there was a clear handball for a penalty for Chelsea that should have been. The ref missed it. Should have been looked at. How it's not been given. It seems like they've moved the kind of the benchmark to just a different stratosphere as to what counts now. I really don't quite get it.
I'm okay with the Chelsea one as well, Leigh. And that guy got a hammering done at the Chelsea West Ham game. Did you see that? And is there anybody that hasn't seen that? I assume he was a Chelsea fan who got punched by a West Ham fan. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
On Twitter?
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, it's hilarious. Now, I know we shouldn't be saying things like that, but it was rather weird because there are many different views, angles of it. And the guy himself came up with a video from his hospital bed this morning.
Oh, really?
Really?
I saw the picture of him in the wheelchair being pushed around.
Yeah, it's just... Do you know, I think he might have been a West Ham fan as well. I think they might have been fighting amongst themselves.
Probably.
Apparently the ghost of Sean Locke punched him.
Excellent stuff.
Suchek made a great save, to be honest.
It just was unreal. I mean, some crazy results again though at the weekend. I mean, Leicester have all of a sudden found some form from absolutely nowhere, and Southampton have taken the ridiculous decision to get rid of one of Europe's finest coaches.
He was great value, Leigh. I mean, the traffic to their social media must have been enormous over the last couple of weeks. How could they get rid of Nathan?
Just
from the office.
He was off down the tunnel as quick as anything after the game yesterday. 1-0 up with Wolves down to 10 men, and somehow they managed to lose the game. And I mean, it's looking pretty grim for them, to be honest.
Dale, is
it a job? Is it a job for Big Sam? Is that is that where we're at now with Southampton? Is that I mean, what do they do? So you've actually got a couple of clubs looking for managers at the moment. Leeds are obviously looking for somebody. Southampton are on the lookout, both looking to find someone that's going to basically keep them up this season.
Well, I tell you, Leigh,
who do you go for?
Well, listen, it's a good question, and the impact of a new manager appointment can be almost immediate. I mean, we've seen Deitch at Everton, right? An incredible first result. He'll be looking forward to Liverpool tomorrow, but it has gone to his head somewhat, Leigh. I don't know if you saw the picture of him in the post-match interview after the Arsenal game. It's gone to his head a bit, Leigh. I feel
it's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah.
Don't like that very much at all.
I was going to discuss that. I was going to discuss. We will talk about that event, which I watched briefly last night. Some of it. It's probably the one thing which is I've never quite felt as old as I did last night watching the Brits. But yeah.
I did see somebody post, who the hell are Wet Leg? Like, I mean, I'm only about 26. You know, who the hell are Wet? You know, was it Wet Leg? Yeah. So I didn't even watch it. Didn't even watch it. So Simon says need to bring in Lampard, and also says that Jones will find himself back at Luton soon. We will see. And Gary McBride probably late night at the office. Says, did you see the guy turn up with his P45 to give the Saints manager at the game? Look it up. That's right.
Oh, what
did
it
a
wasn't,
beautiful
it
job.
Wasn't a, it was a
like a great
job,
big thing.
Yeah, it was a huge
job.
thing, huge big poster of it, and properly filled out and everything.
Yeah.
It was stunning, absolutely great effort. You know, you can't. But do we think? I mean, does Lampard or Gerrard pick up one of these two jobs?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Why would you bring? Why would you? Yeah.
I mean, Big Sam's got to be a shoe-in versus those two. I mean, I wouldn't have Lampard at any other football club north of the conference ever again.
Yeah.
Wet Leg apparently is a band from the Isle of Wight. The
They
Isle
are,
of where?
yes.
The Isle of where?
Yeah.
Sorry, where's that? The Isle of Wight.
They are. Some people kind of seem to think that they're just kind of a bit of a kind of a Mickey taking band, because they kind of started off and then all of a sudden got picked up on social media quite a lot, and next thing you know they're headlining stuff and you know, and winning awards, and no one's quite sure how it's really happened. And if you saw their acceptance speech last night for one of their awards, I don't think they really know either.
It was absolutely bizarre.
It was the strangest awards. Just is it just nobody these days has got any charisma or anything about them to actually just thank the people that have helped them get there? And you know, it's not difficult to give an if we gave Dan an award now for something and he had to quickly rattle off a 30-second acceptance speech,
I'd say he could probably do it.
You thank your family, you thank your your work colleagues, you thank
your APAT Des.
Absolutely, quite right.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue whatsoever.
In fact, let's try it. So, Dan, let's pretend for a moment you have personally just taken the Golden Child of the Month award, right? Just give us
That's something I don't think I've ever been in the running.
You've just got it, man. You've just got it. You've been awarded this fine bracelet, right, for the Golden Child of the Month. Do your best, lad. Give us your 30 seconds appreciation words.
Well, I would firstly like to thank Des Duffy, the leader of APAT, for going back in time and awarding me something from last year. Just goes to show how special the year was. I would like to thank Lee Wiltshire. However, he's Welsh, so I can't do that. So apologies there. I think failing that, my mother and father I can't thank because I don't know them. But I'd also like to thank my dog, who occasionally, decides to urinate on the floor. And without that, I would not be the man that I am today.
He's done well.
There you go. Well. See, there.
He's done well.
Wait,
plenty of charisma
you
there.
two colluding. I'm in a pot with Wiltshire, and then you two are making me not think. Right, let's get on it.
Obviously, that six on the turn has made all the difference to my hand. Yeah.
Well, it is if you have 4, 5, or 6s or 3s, but we'll call.
Right. Well, you guys are playing out of hand.
That's too much.
The
I
Oracle
can't remember how
has...
this hand played out now. Did I raise? No, I called. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, Dan. I can't remember. Yeah.
Sorry about that, lads.
Big decision for Dan here.
Makes sense. I'm gonna show you what I folded as well.
Ace 10.
Oh, what a fold! What a fold! Top.
Wow! Nice play. Nice play. Apparently, Wet Leg quoted the Arctic Monkeys speech. Didn't know
Sorry,
that.
who are Wet Leg? I've never even heard of them.
They were the golden child for February in the music industry. Apparently,
yeah. They won best group last night and some other
best group
as
of
well.
what?
Oh, best newcomer, I think. Best newcomers, best group, best UK group. So it's a female duo, but they also have 3 lads as well that go on tour with them. But basically, they started off. It was just the two girls.
Are they the ones that did that stupid song about, like, I don't know, having an orgasm or something ridiculous? They're just like really like Yeah, I think I know who they are. Then okay, I'm not sure why they're winning things, but fair enough. You know,
Yeah,
each their
well,
own.
Simon is confident they will never be seen again.
Yeah, the 1975, as Simon says, also were robbed. I mean, the 1975 have had a hugely successful tour this year, mostly funded by Glenn Townsend, who's pretty much been to. I think he bought every single ticket for every one of their gigs this year, and pretty much was following them around the country. So at one point, so he was in Bournemouth, and then he went down to Plymouth, I think, or Exeter, and yes, very much enjoying.
There's just so much weird stuff going on in the chat box, Leigh. I don't even know. Let me just go with Chase Long first, as I think it's just the appropriate sort of lead into poor Paul, who's suffering a little bit. Niche comment, but devastated. Chugoi from De La Soul has died. We're supposed to be seeing them again at the Royal Albert Hall in April. That is obviously now not going to happen. Certainly, Chugoi will not be there. Don't know him. Thank God we're not fronting a music show, Leigh, right?
But it's been a sad week, because actually, if you couldn't cope with the Brit Awards on ITV1 last night, you only had to literally down channel once, and you could get onto BBC Two, and you had a beautiful Burt Bacharach.
Mr. Bacon, what have you got here? Has anybody seen this hand? So we have a full house on the board. So I've bet one big blind. He's made it 2. I've made it 3. He's made it 4. I've made it 5. He's made it 6.
Well, you're going to have to call it, aren't you?
I'm going to 7 because I've got a really good. I've definitely got a good hand.
I've no idea where
he's made it 8. Okay, could you guys be here all night doing it?
Shall I just fold? Like I know he's struggling to reload. Okay, I obviously lose. Oh no, I win. Wow.
Oh, that is brutal.
That's painful, yeah. Absolutely painful.
There was a question, Mark Hughes for Southampton. Any thoughts on that, gents?
I mean, he's half decent striker still, right? It might help him.
Yeah, he might get a game. That's a good point. Him and Shane Long up front. Shane Long still there? Probably not for a couple of years. Did he go to Hull or somewhere?
Yeah, he went. Yeah, they let him go eventually. I thought Hughes was managing somewhere at the moment.
Mark Hughes.
Where is he managing? He's not managing.
Is he?
Somebody needs to steal Big Dunk from Forest Green Rovers. He's not going to last there. There's no way that man can live off pulses alone, right? That ain't right.
Oh, it's funny. It is funny. Right, guys, I have a couple of questions for you, right? Let me throw this out there. So we talked about Sam Smith's outfit, pretty special. Anything else from the Brits, Leigh, or have we covered everything that ages all of us appropriately there?
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely have. I haven't watched the Brits for a good while, but wow, I really, really did feel old with just not knowing quite most of the artists that were nominated, and just it just seemed a bit lackluster in kind of the awards and the thank yous and everything else. Just it felt really uncomfortable to watch. Actually, it wasn't an enjoyable watch. Even the presenting was just awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Bacon's all in.
Oh.
Well, I've got this, so I think I'm going to have to call. And if he's got Ace Jack or Jack 9 or something like that, then or he's hit, I think we're going to have to. He's got Ace Jack.
He's got Ace Jack. Look at that. Look at that.
There we go. There we go.
It was always going to play out like that.
Yeah.
So Tris has said, look, some of the strangest shit I have ever seen. We're just testing this cash game tonight, Tris. Sorry about that, my friend. Normal play will resume next week. Oh,
harsh, but
harsh
fair.
But true.
Yeah,
we're losing our audience, Leigh. We're losing our audience. Let's try and get them back quickly by going on to the normal nonsense that we talk about. I can't remember. Had the Chinese balloon been shot down when we did this same show last week?
Which one?
That's a good point.
One or the second? The first.
There's
one,
all sorts of shit being shot down out of the air over the States, which, to be honest, I mean, on the ground, out of the air. It's all the same,
the
right?
great thing, so the one that, so obviously there was the balloon which got shot down, and then there was the one that came over Alaska, which when that first broke on the news, it was beautifully described as it's apparently the size of a small family hatchback.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
An extraordinary description of whatever it was that was floating in the sky. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, if it's Chinese, well, I mean, what type of make will that be?
Exactly.
Does anybody know a Chinese car make? It's probably like a Hyundai, which I know is Korean, but it's pretty close, right?
It's not Hyundai anymore, is it?
No, no.
Hyundai.
That's it.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got one and I still don't know what it's called.
It's like you can't call IKEA because it's IKEA, isn't it? Now it's because they're all now getting the pronunciation right on their adverts. So
the thing is,
the world.
If you've ever been to the States, which I know we all have, and a lot, if you ever watch any TV over there and you see one of the adverts for Hyundai, as it used to be known, they call it a Hyundai. Hyundai. Yep. You look at it, they talk about the Hyundai and you go, oh, they're badly mispronouncing that.
And then you find out that actually, no, they were
it was
right
us all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it broke my heart to find out that Peugeot wasn't actually pronounced Peugeot like we used to pronounce it like that in Ireland.
That was just an Irish thing, though.
It was Peugeot, yeah. How did it become a Peugeot overnight? That's very posh. Peugeot? Peugeot, man. Peugeot. What else have we got for you?
I seem to be getting a bit smashed in this cash game. I'm the only one that's basically got the minimum stack buy, and everybody else is now above the $20. I don't feel like I've been dishing the money left, right, and centre or anything here. So,
are you topping up, Leigh, or you haven't been stacked, have you? You're just topping up.
No, no, it's just constant topping up, but I haven't been totally stuck. But I don't feel like I've just been like frittering away chips to everybody else here. Apart from Tom Bacon, because obviously we're all feeling sorry for Tom.
I know, like goes and cashes all these big buy-ins, yet can't top up $20 on party. There's something going on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's having us on, really.
Guys,
just think your rate back. How's your rate back looking in the top right corner?
I've got mine switched off, so I don't know. Yeah, I won't have got very much.
God, do you remember the days when you used to get decent rate back? Do you remember those?
No, it was never a thing for me.
Poker's changed though so much, isn't it? Now it's not would you even say that how easy it is? Many people even can make a living out of online poker now.
Well, the good players can, yeah. The rest of us maybe not. But
But there used to be players that would make their money on their rake back, and as long as they were kind of breaking even on the poker, then they were topping up on top was plenty for them. But those days, I mean, I think ever since PokerStars pulled kind of the supernovas and all of that and restructured all of that, it's completely changed what's doable now in the world.
I remember when I first started playing, I think my poker career would have been much, much shorter if it wasn't for Matt Dale's generosity and his ridiculous rateback system on poker.co.uk. I was definitely not a winning player when I first started, but his rateback was overly generous, shall we say, and it kept me afloat while I was at university. It kept me in pot noodles.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, no, guys. I'm preparing to be gutted here. I think on the whole car topic, Simon has mentioned that famous Spanish car manufacturer, Seat. What's your point on Seat, Simon?
Yes, exactly.
Simon says there's 13 minutes left to earn this week.
Well, Natalie's back in my place now, and Paul is looking with a healthy stack here of over $40 now.
And meanwhile, in the chat box, Paul has put an ear. I don't know. I think it's still going off in the chat box. The other show chat box, Leigh.
Yeah, I was going to say we're maybe we just need to stream that. Put that up on screen.
Right, guys.
And just
I have to go down by my list. ChatGPT, right? So Bing have launched an AI chat product over the last couple of days. Google tried to usurp them by taking some of their story away by announcing Google Bard a couple of days prior. But in what can only be called a bit of an ironic situation, one of their demos gave an incorrect answer, and it knocked at $120 billion
I saw that.
Off of the value of Google.
How to get a product demo badly wrong.
You don't want to rush it out. That's step number one. Don't rush your MVP out. 120 billion. Crikey. The single biggest fall in stock value of all time.
Talking about MVP, it's mustn't forget it's Super Bowl night.
Yes.
Happening tonight. Yeah, Rihanna is busy warming up the vocal cords, ready for the halftime show. I saw I think one of the sites is streaming. You can watch the whole thing for like 99 cents. They're kind of doing some crazy deals to kind of get everybody able to watch the watch the show and watch the game. But Kansas City Chiefs I think are favourites to win it. So.
Is it on? What channel is it on, Lee? Is it on in the UK?
It'll be in the UK. It's on.
Sky?
Well, it'll definitely be on Sky NFL, and I think is it ITV have it now? I think.
Oh, do they?
So it might be ITV have got it. I know BBC used to show it when it for the Super Bowl. So it's one of those where you get the impression that they just want everybody to watch it. So they pretty much it's not stuck behind a silly paywall of you've got to pay this whatever for it. It's one of those events which actually just gets put out there, and America do it well and let everybody watch it. So,
what time does a thing like that start at?
I think it's 11:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, get your chips in, guys, then, because we'll be rolling down shortly. We have to see.
Yeah, but it's well worth watching. Yeah,
in.
we'll see. Even if you don't watch the whole thing, but it's certainly well worth watching. And obviously, normally we would be. We'd be up at dusk till dawn doing the team event on this weekend, but unfortunately, I've had to move it a couple of weeks for something they already had pre-booked. So
now, Leigh, both Dan and I know you don't want to talk about the Six Nations rugby because it's got
what? Sorry,
the six. Yeah, exactly. Because it's got to have been painful for the Welshman, right? The first two weekends.
Not really.
No,
not really.
Oh.
No, I don't. Not particularly. And the reason it's not painful is Wales are back in a transition period again.
Right.
Gatland coming back in is I saw somebody made some comment of like, I think one of the original the game against Ireland, I think they had the handicap betting at something like 6.5 points, and it's like, are you kidding me? Gatland's not he's not a magician. He's just not going to all of a sudden make this team amazing against Ireland, who are one of the best two teams in the world at the moment, and we got what we deserved against Ireland. Scotland have owed us one for a good while, because to be honest, they probably should have beaten us last year.
Yeah.
They probably should have beaten us a couple of years ago, and they've just been unlucky with some red cards and yellow cards and other things that have, just hasn't really gone their way. And they're looking really, really good at the moment.
Good Scottish team.
As a side. Yeah, really, really good. You could argue how many of them are actually Scottish, but hey, we've all, most countries have been there at some point with questionable choices of who's playing for their team. But it's interesting. I don't really have a problem with it. I'll be gutted if we can't at least pick up a win somewhere, but it's starting to look like a tough one. Italy's the game, which I think if we could actually come away beating Italy and giving a good performance against England, who are still in transition themselves, France will probably turn up. So that's just the way it's going to be. It's frustrating because obviously it's World Cup.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating thing.
I don't know if either of you saw it, but one of Ireland's tries yesterday was just an insane touchdown. Did you see the one?
The dive into the corner. Dive into the corner was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Insane what these guys can do at pace. With somebody running at them, it's just incredible.
And interestingly, as good as Scotland have been in their first two games, I think Ireland will absolutely pace them. I seriously, I mean, if Ireland don't pick up the Grand Slam this season, I'll be amazed.
Well, we have Italy next weekend or in the next round, and then it's away to Scotland and at home to England. So we'll see. we'll see. If Scotland get a good result next weekend, then I think it could make the fourth round pretty tasty. Scotland and Ireland at Murrayfield.
Yeah, but it's you. What you want is you want a competitive championship. That's the point.
Yeah.
Is you ideally want something that's actually is there's no point in it being a situation whereby one team's absolutely crushing it and nobody's got to look in. You want it to be competitive, and hopefully that's what it'll be.
No, absolutely right. Power slap. Have you seen this, Dan? Power slap.
I have seen a lot of power slap, and I used to be a massive MMA fan. So when I saw that they'd replicated the Ultimate Fighter series, which is, for those that don't know, kind of like a reality show concept in which up and coming fighters live in a house together, get paired off against each other, beat the living bones off each other, and then try to get a contract in the UFC. They've done the same with this slap fighting, which is another Dana White brainchild, I suppose. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's fabulous, though, isn't it? At the same time,
well, it's like car crash TV. I don't want to watch it, but I found myself watching all of the episodes of this. It's like the Ultimate Fighter version where they're now in a house living together. And at least with the MMA fighters, they've trained in jiu-jitsu and taekwondo and all these different disciplines, and they have a little bit of discipline in the house. Sometimes some of them get a bit drunk and make fools of themselves, but 90% of them are there. They're quite disciplined. They're relatively well behaved. These slap fighters are just rednecks.
Oh, they're rednecks, complete rednecks.
Honestly, they are literally. I've watched a couple of the episodes where they're all sat in the room and they're clever in what they do. So they'll two people will be paired. They'll have their slap fight, and then at the end of the episode they go, right, and next week you two are fighting, and then they have to go back in the house for like 3 days before the fight happens, and they're getting drunk. They're punching each other in the like they are. Yeah. It is carnage, but I feel like the only skill is winning the coin
toss. I don't know if you saw this week's episode, but there was one guy. He looked so tough, and you can't pick out a bloke who looks more of a favorite to win, but he loses the coin toss and he gets absolutely mullered with the first slap.
Nice.
Oh, incredible stuff.
It is great, but it's the fact that they've tried to they've obviously got it licensed, so they've tried to make some rules, and the rules are just pointless. Oh, that's a foul because you slightly moved your foot in the box, as you're swinging all of your body weight. Oh, that's a foul because you flinched a little bit. Sorry, a 300-pound man is swinging his sledgehammer hand at my face, and I had a bit of a flinch. And have you seen the ones where they score the fight? So they'll do 3 slaps each.
Yeah.
Like nobody gets knocked down or anything. Yeah. And then it goes to the judge's decision. I mean, boxing is corrupt in itself in judging, but this is just like,
it's early days.
Who's less scary? Who's going to hurt me more if I don't award them the win? And they try and do it on a point system. Oh, it was 29-28 to this guy. And I'm like,
But the two guys who are acting as coach, Dan, and you almost certainly will know this, they're acting as coaches of both sets of fighters at the moment. They've fought off against each other in another series. And their most recent fight together went 27 rounds.
Yes,
so I think
I saw that.
These are just warm-up series, right? These are just to establish the rankings. I think once they get into actual competitive fighting, these things can go long. It's
well, haven't they? I'm
stuff.
Pretty sure. They said they've fought or whatever you want to call it 4 times, and the one guy has won every time. So the I think he's Hispanic potentially. So not the white burly guy with the beard, the other coach. He's beat him 4 times already. So I feel like it's a bit of a setup for this poor bloke. He's just going to get to the finale and get the beard slapped off
hammered
him,
anyway.
But it is carnage, and Dana White, true to Dana White form, just makes the rules up himself. There's one part in the first.
I tell you what he does do. He makes a spectacle of it, right? So it looks good. It's odd 4 to 5 episodes in, if you count the test events, that the fighters still forget to say right hand on 3, right?
Yeah.
They're always just about to sort of go, and the ref has to say which hand and how many, sort of run-ups. So, it's obviously the discipline isn't there yet. I guess it will become there. But the stage looks good. Everything looks good.
There was one guy, Leigh, who literally was like, right hand 1. So that means he's not even going to like line it up. He's just going with his first motion. And he winds up and he hits this guy, and it is like a feather has just passed across his like brow. It's just like the slowest, and they go, "Oh my God, this guy's an ex-MMA fighter. What's going on?" And then this big fat bloke who he's against just turns up, 1, 2, 3, wipes the smile off him so much and like knocks him out. And it's like,
oh wow.
But did you see that in the qualifiers? That was what cracked me up. They're talking about it being like regulated, and they've got this guy who is the best entertainer you've ever seen, Leigh. He gets slapped and he's like, "Come on, yeah!" Like cheering to the crowd, taking his top off. He's only just started. Like he's giving it loads. Like the guy slaps him and he's in his face. "You can't hurt me, baby. I've got this." And then it turns out he's only got one eye that works. He wins the fight, and then he goes, "Oh shit, we can't use him. He's only got one eye. The athletic commission won't pass this. What are we going to do?" So they give his spot to some other bloke that's just lost. And I'm like,
they had in the exhibition before, they had 2 ladies do it. And they were both super, up for it and everything. But one hit the other, and she rocked backwards, and she got up and she tumbled head over heels.
Yeah,
it's all from one shot, and we haven't seen any more ladies fighting since. I have no idea what the hell happened there. I mean, crikey, the force must be insane to create that type of reaction from a slap.
Yeah. But when some of them, when they go down properly, like seize up, don't they? You see them and they're like, they're on their back, all seized up, hands are crimped. And then the ref's like, "Can you get up? Can you walk to me?" And then they get them walking, like stumbling over, falling on their head. "Oh no, I think he's had enough." And they've got that little bar as well that they have to hold behind them.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, because if you're knocked out cold and you're holding this bar and you fall back, surely you're going to break your shoulders.
Well, you do have 2 burly blokes behind you to catch you, in fairness.
Well, they're not the quickest, though, are they?
They're not great. No, they're not great. So this feels like a guilty pleasure, this sport, I have to say, because there isn't anything we've said in the last 5 minutes that is, fit for human consumption. I mean, it is pretty low down in the weeds stuff.
I did love the bit when they take them to the performance center of the UFC and they rig them up to these machines that they've obviously recalibrated for this type of combat. So you imagine you go to this state-of-the-art performance center where normally jiu-jitsu and all these MMA disciplines are being trained, and they've basically got a kick, like a knee or kick mitt, if you know what I mean. They've got like the big square blocks, and they've just attached it to this pulley to the side, and these big men are just slapping it, and this big computer screen comes up. "Oh, this much hertz of like power," and it's like, I don't think this really means anything. I think we've just got a really big computer screen, and it's like, if you'd have checked, it's just somebody tapping away writing their homework or something on there. But yeah, they've made it out to look cool. So it'd be interesting to see how the season progresses. I'm going to watch the last episode, if it is, because it came out yesterday. Is that right? Is it Saturday?
I think it's a Saturday or Sunday thing.
Yeah, so I will keep it. I will watch that later. But yeah, it is a guilty pleasure, but a fun one.
Excellent stuff. Simon Lawler's in the chat just asking on ITV with a question mark. Well, I've just had a look, and yes, it's the Super Bowl is on ITV1. And it started about 15 minutes ago, the coverage on ITV1. So you got a couple of choices in the UK, either ITV1 or on Sky NFL.
Superb. Paul is there as well. And much like Power Slap, online poker is so much more fun when you can see people's pain.
Yeah, you just had a hand where we against me, and he just decided to open shove his entire stack. Had to fold. Really, it probably looked more painful than it was. I really didn't have anything at all, but anyway, so he has the benefit of sat at home watching it, albeit on a 30-second delay for that, but still.
Oh, the pain is still real, Leigh. The pain is still real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is very much the case.
Talking about real, I see Real Madrid won the FIFA World Club Championship by beating 2 absolute non-entities. Nice trip, I'm sure. Collected the prize money and the trophy.
Yeah, first time that an Asian side
Nice
has
to
got to the
see.
final, I
Nice
believe,
to
which
see.
is kind of always a good thing, and surprising that I mean, pretty much I think that competition has been the winners of the European Champions League against the Copa America winners,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think that's pretty much been how it's played out for as long as I can remember. So maybe that's starting to see maybe some of the African sides and Asian sides being able to give the South Americans a bit more of a run for the money. Still don't say it's a very rarity that it's not the European winner in that. And
agree.
I know they're talking in a few years' time that they want to bring in this every 4 years and 32 clubs playing, in a bigger version of it.
I'd
But
love to see
only
that.
holding it every 4. It'd be great, but I don't quite know how do you qualify for it? Is it that the winners from the last 4 years all get to play? Is that how it's going to work?
So
But,
I
mean,
don't know.
the team can change so dramatically in 4 years. Over 4 years, it seems ridiculous. You could win the Champions League and then get to play in this World Club Championship 4 years down the line. Chelsea will have had an entirely different squad by then. I mean,
that was true. It's true. I mean, they'd have had it 12 months later as well. It has to be said, but
that's true.
but the premise of having a World Cup style FIFA World Club Championship is attractive. I mean, I like the thought of that summer event, albeit there isn't a football manager around who won't tell you it's the last thing we need.
No, and I saw also this week the Super League kind of reared its head again with a completely revamped plan of 60 to 80 teams competing with effectively promotion and relegation, and it's not going to go away, and it's trying to push against UEFA and the control that UEFA has over the club competitions in Europe, and trying to make something that they feel is not so fairer, but something that's maybe more beneficial to some of the clubs.
It is all about the money, folks. All about the money. Inevitably.
Yeah, and talking about the money, obviously, the Manchester City story rolls on. Pep's come out this week saying, we've already been found guilty in the media. It's like, well, the bit I don't understand with it is if there's 100 charges and they're saying they've not done anything wrong, I don't know how long it takes for them to actually prove that they've not done anything wrong. But surely you just would want to get it done and dusted and just go, right, we're just going to prove that the Premier League don't know what they're talking about. Let's move on. The fact that they don't and it gets dragged out does make you question, well, why? Whose benefit is that? If you genuinely haven't done anything wrong and you're being accused of something, provide the evidence to clear your name and move on. And it makes the others look wrong. Yeah.
I don't think he's got time to prove the evidence. He's too busy trying to claim his tax receipt for his taxi for 4.5 hours across the UK. So that was a long journey, right? That must have cost him a fair bomb.
120,000, I believe, for that one.
Yeah. It's,
I mean, what a win, just give Man United the league title back from that fateful year. That's all I care about.
Yeah, Liverpool will have our 4 as well. Is it 3 or 4? I'll take 3. I'll be honest. I'll take 3.
But do you think, I mean, in all seriousness, do we think it's going to be anything more than rap on the knuckles, maybe a fine?
I hope so.
And would they maybe go as far as maybe a transfer embargo for maybe 12 months, something like that? That's about, I don't see it being anything more than that. I don't think it'll be titles, points, or anything like that.
I doubt that it will, but it should be. It should be. And I don't even care if they don't award them elsewhere. Just, it's got to be a robust penalty.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? If you don't make it something robust, then it's effectively saying to all the other clubs that have got the ability to do that, if they wanted to go, well, actually, you can just get on with it. I mean, Chelsea have obviously already stretched the rules, which are now being changed to so they were able to amortize player transfers over the full length of the contract. So all they've done is they've given players 7 and 8 year contracts.
But what are they going to do next?
Basically do that. Yeah.
What are they going to do next year when they're already up the barrier? They're up against the barrier of the new rules and how they've, sort of abused them, which I think they clearly have done here. So, and of course, with Newcastle getting new owners, potentially United getting new owners, potentially Liverpool getting new owners, who knows what'll happen with Spurs? You're suddenly going to have 4, 5, or 6 super budgeted clubs. So if you don't punish City, this thing could unravel very, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Because then it's everyone's and you've only got to look. You don't have to look too far. Just look at La Liga and see the kind of the games that Barcelona are playing now, and the games that Real Madrid have played for a long time, in the way of basically dancing around the financial rules to get things done. I mean, Barcelona had a situation this summer where they'd signed players and then they couldn't actually register the players until they'd actually, freed up some money, or they pulled a few more levers to release some other funds from something else. And I mean, that's no way to run football clubs, is it? Really, it just isn't workable. But I also understand what some of the views, which is that, well, if you've got a rich owner that's prepared to spend, then why shouldn't they be allowed to spend? I suppose maybe the days of Jack Walker is a gone thing. It's not going to happen anymore.
Leigh's pondering, then puts a little bit. I've never seen Leigh go quiet so quickly.
I was just realizing I don't have very long to make decisions, and it's busy chatting away, and they go, "Oh yeah, we're actually playing a game of poker, aren't we?" So
I'm giving this game about 4 minutes, guys. We're going to take the stream off in at 11:15, I think, to be able to see 5 or 10 minutes of this.
Well, let's see if we can send some money Natalie's way in the meantime, then.
Oh dear. Look at Ace King. Come on. Oh, Jacks. Look at that.
Cheeky pair of jacks.
Right.
That everybody is how to play jacks. Just in case. Don't say we don't give you anything on this show. Yeah, you've just witnessed how to play jacks. Yeah, it's you won't see it anywhere else. That's for sure.
And that's normally the flop you get when you've got jacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's you never hit, do you? Really, that's unfortunate. But it is going to be interesting to see how it's all going to play out. And you say money talks, and that's the way it's good. I mean, a couple of other things that came out whilst we're talking just briefly. We've got a couple of minutes to go on the show.
Yeah.
Did you see the story around the Women's World Cup, and one of the key sponsors being Visit Saudi?
Yeah, bad. It seems to be
and
not in great taste.
That came out that I mean, who's making these decisions to think that that's actually a good thing?
Told you, Leigh, it's all about the money, right? It's all about the money. Obviously.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is very much the case.
Not good. And I must admit, I think the next Women's World Cup, the next Women's European Championship, I think it's going to be huge. That sport is really taking off.
Australia, isn't it? Is it Australia?
Absolutely fantastic.
The next Women's World Cup? Yeah, it's going to be. It'll be absolutely massive. Really, really will. Oh, see, they're all running scared now, knowing that we're only a couple of minutes away. Nobody wants to, Paul doesn't want to do his profit now in the last couple of hands.
Right, come on, lads. Last 3 hands then. Lads and ladies. We've got a lady out there, of course, with Natalie. Natalie, did I see her posting somewhere over the last couple of days? Burnley have won 10 in a row.
Oh, just incredible. I mean,
jeez, what's happening there? Wow,
should we just
10 in a row?
Should give them the little Premier League badges to put on their shirts now and let them get on with it. I mean, it's just, I don't see how. I mean, obviously Natalie wouldn't want us to say, to bock it in any way, but I really don't see how they're say they're not going to be promoted next season, and it probably in a better position as a club than they were the season they got relegated. I think with the manager that they're going to have in, the way they're playing, the squad that they're going to have, and what they'll be able to do, I think they'll probably, as strange as it is, I think that is quite often the case, though, isn't it? If a team can bounce straight back up, so they normally are in better standing because they've had the parachute money as well, and a chance to kind of clear house a little bit with the squad, and normally find themselves in a better place.
let's see what they do in the market next summer, because that's often the, a telling factor. Will they go big and try and buy lots of players? Will they stick with the lads who've done well, but maybe might still be a little bit short? That's always the interesting bit, I think, for the promoted clubs.
Go on then, Mr. Bacon. Last time you did this, you had 2-3 of clubs, so I feel my range is pretty okay.
Oh, Tom's made the call. How are you liking the flop, Dan?
There's better flops for me, I think, but it's good enough to carry on.
I feel like he could have hit the 2 or the 3, Lee.
I mean, he has, the 2 and the 3, yeah. Good here, yeah.
If we're talking ranges.
Oh,
he's got to be
really
liking that
now.
2 pair.
Yeah. Now we're happy. Yeah.
Tom, on the flip side, can't be liking this a lot. Oh God, he's got antsy.
Dan bets out $5.90 into a pot of just over $12.
What's going through Tom Bacon's
Tom's
mind
made the
here?
call, so there's $23 in the middle here.
Tom's got to be.
Tom's in the chat going 3-2, looking good here. Now, bear in mind, he's on a 30-second delay. Dan's all in. Is Tom going to find a call on the river here?
He's going to slow roll me.
If he's got 3 deuce, if he's got 3 deuce,
going.
What a hand to finish our show.
We'll be ending the stream now if he's got 3 deuce. He's time banking.
Find the call.
Everybody's willing him on.
Well, I don't think he's got a king. What has he got? A pair of 10s, Lee? A pair of jacks, maybe?
Yeah, I'd put him on a pair. Oh, he's got the king.
Sweet. Mother of God. Kings against aces.
What a hand to end on. Wow. Kings versus aces. And Tom gets paid off completely. I mean, nothing you could do there, Dan, really. That was
Blimey O'Reilly.
Nicely played, yeah. Well, it's ended up. So let me give you a quick word. The guys are still playing, but basically, it's difficult to know who was up and down or whatever. But what I can tell you, stack-wise, Paul ended up with $50. Dan, you just saw, pretty much got stacked there at the end. Tom Bacon ended up on $54. Natalie was sat on 10 when we finished, and I was just over 20. But I've topped up a few times during the hour. So I think the big winners are Paul and Tom from that one. Absolutely. And that's what Paul thinks of that particular hand. So what we should say is a huge thank you to Tom, Natalie and Paul for sitting in and playing some cash with us on the show tonight. I quite enjoyed that, Des, for a little bit of poker in the background whilst we've been chatting away.
Absolutely fantastic.
And maybe we can get some more of the guys that are out watching joining us for a little bit of cash on a Sunday night.
Fantastic. Absolutely loved it, guys. So listen, everybody's been watching us, and for the guys who've been playing tonight, Dan, who's joined us in the studio, thank you. Hope you have a super week ahead. And Lee and I shall return next Sunday night. We'll do it all over again. If there's another cash game, maybe we'll put it up within the Facebook group earlier. Give some of you a chance to get in. So other than that, have a super week, guys, and we will see you next weekend. Ciao, ciao.